Welcome to Riding with a AMAP. We are at the Bristol Motor Speedway right now, and this is my buddy Jessie's Suzuki Boulevard 800, and it's in a great bike, great shape. I love those wide-walled tires. Oh, I want to give a shout out to some of my students who have been watching some of my stuff. Sage and Keelan, you probably are on here. Maybe Marcus and Kirsten might be watching, so I want to say hi to y'all if you're out there watching. Hopefully you're having a great spring break like I am. And here is my 82 Honda CM450. I kind of brought this bike back from the dead. I bought it for a little over $1,000, and it needed a lot of help. I had to put fenders back on it. I had to do lights, except for the headlight and the tail light, but I had to do everything else. And need a new speedometer. I got one of those speedometers. It's off of a Goldwing, actually. So the bike has 56,000 miles on it, according to the speedometer. The biggest thing with this bike is I had to get the carburetors running. It ran pretty terrible until I got the carbs off, and I had to take them on and off the bike like 5 times. It's crazy until I actually rebuilt everything inside the carbs, changed all the needles, the valves, everything like that, cleaned it up as much as I could. Now it runs like a top. Here we are up in at Boone Lake, and I showed you the map of where we were going to ride today, and of course right now we're on a time lapse, so I look like a bobblehead when everything's going so quickly. You know, you're always checking left and right and looking around. But my bike is, like I said, it was my project bike after my accident last year, and when I couldn't do a whole lot, I decided I wanted to fix one up, and I've always liked these older Hondas. It's a little 450, so it's nice and light. It's like less than 400 pounds, and it's been a wonderful bike to commute back and forth with. It's real comfortable. Although the original bars are garbage. Back in the 80s, they didn't know if it was a cruiser or if it was a standard, and so they put these like sweep back bars on it, and they look stupid. So I just put my old DR650 bike bars on it, and it rides really pretty well. I probably need to do a whole lot of suspension work and stuff, but here we pulled over to kind of chat and see where we're headed and make sure we're going in the right direction and stuff. He didn't have, and then this old Harley guy shows up behind us and said, "Where are we going?" And when we told him, he said, "Oh, never mind." So we're heading up to Shady Valley through Elizabethton, and this is my first motorcycle ride with this 360 camera, and it is, I mean, I just love this camera, except it doesn't give you the sense of speed and leaning over in the corners, and honestly, the corners don't even look like corners in this thing. So it's kind of an interesting take on it. I'm sure there's some settings I could use, but to make it do more like that. But I love the flowing just on rails, you know, and there's nothing that the mount. It's on my handlebars, and it's bouncing around quite a bit, but when you look at the footage, it doesn't look like it's moving at all. So really pleased with that. But here we are, made it out of Elizabethton, and we're heading up towards Blue Hole, which is a awesome waterfall area if you ever get a chance to go around that way. And you're riding in this neck of the woods. It's definitely it's just up the road and off to the side. I mean, it's only like a mile off this road that we're going up now, and it gets gravel, but the Blue Hole is only like a little bit away from the gravel. So you're on a street bike. It's like no big deal. I've done taking it. And here's the map that I'm showing you is where we're heading from Elizabethton up to Shady Valley up to 421, so we can hop on the Snake. So we're gonna go up and over a pass. But I actually bought my first motorcycle in this area. It's not my first one. My first motorcycle as an adult that I purchased myself, I should say. You know, I had bikes before. I was riding since I was a kid, but this is, it was an old 82. Yeah, it was the same year as this Honda. It was an 82 Yamaha 750 Seika and XJ 750. It was awesome. It was shaft drive, and back in that time though, they did some weird stuff with the dashboard, so like everything was all plasticky. But that bike had self-canceling turn signals back in the 80s. It had a digital fuel tank, like a reader, It was amazing. It was so cool. And then, of course, Harley convinced the government to go through all of these things, you know, make all these restrictions and tariffs on stuff, and so they none of the Jap bikes could have all the cool stuff that was on the Harley. So after that, I mean, it wasn't until the 2000s or so that I'm aware of that the foreign bikes started getting self-canceling signals again. And that's why all of their CCs went down too, because you couldn't, like I said, I'm on a 450 right now, and Harleys were running a lot bigger than that, but because of all the restrictions on importing, that's why all the CCs went way down. That's why you have 750s that were like the best bikes around from the foreign bikes. But anyway, probably if you're watching this, you probably know all of this already. So again, we're heading up towards Shady Valley. We're taking, and I couldn't believe this road is white, not because of the, like, that's not how it's paved. It's not concrete, it is asphalt, but it's salt. It's like they salted. We actually had this, I mean, this is a beautiful day. We're up in the early 70s, or like mid 70s, and just a beautiful day riding. You're going to see all kinds of bikes on this trip, and when we get to 421, the racer guys are out there in the cars, and there's a Corvette, but the racer guys are out there in their cars and their drift cars, and also on the bikes, just because it's such a beautiful day. But about 10 days ago, we had snow, and so welcome to climate change, where we get yo-yo weather. It just bounces back and forth. It's crazy. While I'm recording this with my audio, it's back down, and I mean, it was in the 30s this morning, so crazy. Our poor flowers and trees don't know what to do. They think it's ready to flower out, and then boom, it gets a freeze spell. But this is, like I said, the big thing about this camera. I absolutely love it. I'm never going back to anything, but it does give you a different look. Like some of these turns that are super sharp don't look sharp at all on the camera. But it's still a great ride. Definitely, if you're in the area, head on up to 421 and you'll go on the Snake. I think it's even better than Tail of the Dragon. Tail of the Dragon just gets too busy, and the pavement isn't as good either. This is the first time that I've taken this bike on this road, and you know, I've put over 1,000 miles on it already, probably more than that, about 2,000, just from commuting back and forth. So, but see that last turn, like, that was a really sharp turn. You can't even tell on this camera, but my suspension needs a whole lot of help, so I don't push it really hard. But Jessie is on that cruiser bike, and of course, if he pushes it too hard, he just drags his floorboards. So I'm gonna make it up here to the top, and then have to wait for him and stuff. But that's okay. I told him, you know, I'll wait for you in the straights, and then in the corners I'll be seeing you. But it's no big deal. Well, I'm gonna probably shut it down on the audio. There's not much more to talk about, and most of you don't want to listen to me anyway, probably. Just came to watch the video. So I'm gonna play some tunes on here for the rest of this video, and thanks for watching, and hopefully you're having a great spring yourself, and hopefully you get out on the bikes and have some fun. Oh, that is me humming and singing along with my music, by the way. And I sing terrible, so don't listen to that.
I meant to put on my jacket back yonder.
Yeah, it got a little chilly, didn't it?
No, just in case something stupid happens.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe there's still salt on the road.
Salt, it ain't been no rain.
No rain over here?
No, not really.
Rain at the house?
A little bit. So, after you.
Alrighty.
We're the forecast.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I try to slow down in the straights.
Oh, you're fine. So I promise you're fine.
I slow down in the straights, and then in the corners I speed up. on the line.